Welcome to Beer Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast. Today, we'll be doing 6 beers from Modern Times, a classic San Diegan brewery. So get yourself a couple of beers from Modern Times, sit back, relax, and drink along with us. What do we have first today, Jeremy?
Today we have the Dymaxion, which is a, there's not a lot of information on this can. But it's either a sour or an IPA.
Who knows?
Yeah.
This is a pale ale, so you were just wrong.
Dead
I
wrong.
was about to say, that sure sounds like a pale ale. I will make that joke every single podcast. It's my civic duty.
I'd be okay if you forego that duty of yours, but
You
whatever.
said duty.
Oh, wow.
Gentlemen,
Cheers.
Cheers.
ooh,
Oh.
that's like a sour pale ale.
Yeah. The first thing I noticed was sort of that citrusy, kind of fruity.
Almost salty of like a Berliner or a Gosa.
Yeah.
Berliner's not salty. Almost the salty of a Gosa.
Yeah.
Good catch there, Sean. I will say I'm not a fan of the aftertaste.
Yeah.
It's got kind of a almost too salty and acidic aftertaste.
Yeah.
I can't quite describe it.
Do we
but-
wash these glasses?
Yeah, these are
Okay.
washed.
I was just making sure this wasn't week old beer that's making this.
No,
certain
yeah,
flavor.
these were washed.
It smells. I don't want to just like tear into this beer all of a sudden, but this smells like wet dog.
That's fair.
Much less sour on subsequent sips and more just kind of bitter. But that first sip was like really sour. I actually thought this
Yeah.
was like between a sour and a pale ale. But now that's kind of that sour is kind
Right.
of subsided. Along
Yeah.
with this, I really don't get the salt anymore either.
Not having the greatest time with this beer. I'm glad we're getting it out of the way first. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. That's wow. On this taste, it's like some kind of food substance I'm eating. Like every taste has been a little different each time.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to get into.
Well, yeah, I agree that I think that each sip is different, and that's bad because there's no consistency in flavor, right?
Yeah.
What is this beer?
Right. Yeah, I can't really pin it down. It's not one thing, which is kind of unfortunate. A weak start.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the rest of them. What would you give it? I'm thinking a 45, maybe a 40. I don't know. I don't want to be mean, but
I'd give it a 45.
okay.
We'll go with 45 then. I was going to go 50. I know that we rated a couple episodes Diamond Down Lager as a 45.
Oh.
I would rather have this beer than that beer, so...
I stand by my rating.
I disagree with that last sentiment, Nick. But, you know.
To each their own.
Yeah. This is like an oddball, though.
I don't think I've ever had anything that tastes quite like this. This is kind of it's a very light flavor. It's pretty subtle. I don't love it. The flavor that's there is not a fantastic one. I mean, this is kind of hazy, so I didn't really expect this to be just a traditional pale ale. But it sure makes me want a traditional pale ale.
I'd love to.
Right, well, it's not refreshing in any way, right? There's no hop punch, and you kind of feel like if you drank this after mowing the lawn on a summer's day, you'd be disappointed in that it kind of just tastes like watered down beer. It doesn't really taste like anything that Modern Times makes. It's sad that the can design is the best thing about this beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of got this like these waves of teal and copper and this sort of like 1970s like postmodernist kind of weird thing. That's kind of interesting.
Right.
We took a look at some of these other cans though. Wow, those were like this one's good. Those ones are going to be great.
We were saying that they took your designs to heart quite quickly.
Yeah.
Modern Times.
Before even, I sent them a quick tweet
Yeah.
during that episode, and we worked it out.
Okay, all right. So you're the new lead on marketing and design choice.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I keep saying we should do it. I should start a social media thing for this podcast, but
Throw on the Jeremy's Jeremy's graphic design criticisms.
Oh, like
on the Facebook page.
Oh,
where you
yeah.
just like post pictures and you just like give all your comments on each can.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. I was kind of thinking we could do like we each all have access to the same Twitter thing, and if wherever we're drinking beer outside of this context, then it'll just be like, hey, I'm here to drinking this beer, and
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, tweet it, and then we can give a little rating in the tweet.
yeah.
Having this beer here.
Well, and we can even, if the beer is good enough, we could say, I recommend this beer. I'm going to pull this beer onto the podcast. We can
Oh,
every
yeah.
once in a while we could have a beer that one of us like really recommends, and have it be outside of the constraints of the
Editor's
theme.
choice.
Editor's choice. Bartender's choice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
I like that idea. So that's something to look forward to in the future.
Big plans.
Someone note that down.
I'll give this beer this, that it inspired good conversation about the design of the podcast, right?
It's the opposite of the sign of making a good meal is hearing forks on plates and no conversation.
Oh yeah.
The sign of a bad beer is a loud bar.
Well, if they only served the 20% that we had last episode, that's a good beer. The bar would be very loud.
Yeah. Drinking slow and getting drunk instantly makes for a
Same
loud
thing.
bar.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to be done with that one.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn. 20%,
No rhythm.
20% beers. I'm done like 5 minutes before anyone else. Shut up.
Yeah,
I can
a
finish my beer.
5.5% beer. You just can't even.
Oh, what's the IBU on this one?
40.
I'm going to guess. Oh.
Sorry, I undercut you there.
No, it was actually worse because I was about to guess the ABV. And you said it like 30 seconds ago.
I'm glad we avoided that.
Thank you.
Oh, it would have been great. I would have looked really stupid.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
No.
Oh hell.
Oh, jeez.
Good thing there wasn't anything.
That was
in
close.
Bells, bells.
That's the most disappointing Modern Times beer I've ever had.
Really? I've never that was a really as in like I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
that was a little
felt-
different tone.
Yeah. Yeah, I meant really. In fact, I agree with you. I don't want people at home to think we're here shitting on Modern Times because I think we're all actually pretty big fans of Modern Times. I don't think I've ever had one of their beers that I didn't enjoy.
Right.
And this was kind of out of character for them. So I think this speaks to their quality. That
This is the only one that I can remember I don't like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shame that we got it. Good for us that we got it first. Shame for people listening that we the first beer were like, oh, this sucks.
Well, I kind of feel like it would be better to kind of go steadily increase in class of beer rather than do all the really good ones and then be crestfallen at the end when we have a couple of duds. So
And on a high note,
yeah,
it's coming up next.
eeny meeny miny mo.
Pretty much.
Oh, the best can design
Dude,
by far.
Bedrock.
Yeah. Bedrock.
Oh, that's pretty loud, actually.
Nice hiss.
95 out of 100.
So this is a Nitro brown ale.
Ooh.
There are some notes in here on the website that talk about the flavor profile, I guess you would say. Oh, I feel like I can smell it already.
It really is that's a nice color.
Cheers.
Shall we? This tastes good.
But yeah,
This is a good beer.
Yeah,
That's,
especially for a brown. That's great.
And it's an interesting take on a brown, too.
yeah,
Right?
I'm kind of getting like a peanut butter note and like a really strong and
With a little like roasty, little coffee something to it.
Yeah, it strikes a good balance between, a nitro cream beer, right? A lactose infused beer, and then a more rich, full bodied brown,
Right.
or typical American brown.
Good to see Nitro expanding beyond dark beers. I saw some Nitro IPAs for a while. That seemed to be a thing for a little minute. I think this is the first time I've seen a Nitro brown ale. And
Yeah, indeed.
I don't love Nitro, but this is good. I like this.
I guess I'm not surprised that this is Modern Times, that they're the ones, expanding upon the profile of these larger craft beer trends, right? I don't know if I would expect to think that a Nitro Pale or something like that would be very good. But a brown is within like the character reach.
A little darker.
Yeah,
I think that the name Bedrock is really fitting though, because it's a very like earthy, not as earthy as like a stout. Definitely like I don't know, it's like dirt,
Right?
And yeah, it's even colored like sort of like this brown sandstone-ish kind of.
Well, and that's kind of the thing is I guess now it's bedrock, not sandstone or something. But just based on the can, it kind of like I get visions of Utah and Sedona and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking at that can, and then looking at this beer, it's the same thing. This beer looks like some rock formation you would see in Sedona, where it's this kind of slightly tan head and this really orangey brown.
Yeah, like strata.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually it reminds me of amber, like the dinosaurs in amber thing.
Right.
I guess it was a mosquito, but very interesting look and taste.
Right.
I quite enjoy this.
Yeah. Especially if I'm going to get a brown, I would get this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're at a bar and they have this, and it's not you're not in the mood for an aggressive IPA or an aggressive dark beer.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a nice middle ground, and it's a good. I feel like brown ales often are like compromising in their flavor, where they don't want to make something aggressive, so they take it too far the other way, where it's kind of bland. This is the good compromise. This is like light, easy drinking without being bland.
I kind of thought that the earthy flavor that you mentioned, Jeremy, would get old after subsequent drinks.
Yeah.
But it's only gotten better, I think, with more drinks.
For me, it's kind of nice to drink this one slower because like there's still a lot of aftertaste on my tongue. I don't know. It's like it's nice to ponder,
Right.
and then like once that's almost done, you like go in for another sip, and then you're basically like riding that wave again.
Right. Any beer that manages to have a good aftertaste is a good beer to me. I think that's really difficult. Even a lot of beers that I love have a weird, gross aftertaste,
or just like no real specific or interesting. It's just gone after you swallow it. So I like this.
How would you guys like to take one of these on like a hike in Sedona?
Yeah,
and then just like sit on top of one of these rocks and
that's
one
a
of these
great
beers.
Yeah.
hiking beer episode.
Or you like climb a spire or something like that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the range of physical fitness.
We'll let you do that one.
I'm like, what if you went on a leisurely walk near Sedona?
Within the
Nick
vicinity.
is like, what if we summited Sedona?
Oh, it's so good. It's got like I want to describe it as like sandy.
Oh, that's better.
It is. This sounds unappealing. I think based on our discussion.
Right, exactly. But it's not. It totally isn't.
Yeah, like a poetic sandy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of it. This is highly specific, and I don't think many people will relate to what I'm about to say. But when you walk in Sedona and you have like the red dirt that gets into like the traction underneath your shoe, and it's kind of like it's like a moist day, and then you like scrape that out and you like lick it. Right. It's like that.
How often
flavor.
do you do this, Nick?
For some reason, whenever I go hiking in Sedona, I'm always like drawn to look at like my shoes and like the contrast of my hiking shoes and then like this red sand that's accumulated on like the sides underneath.
And then you're attracted to the flavor of it.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. There's just just something. I don't know what it is. I'm a dumbass, obviously. I don't know anything.
As a kid, did you ever like go into like a sandwich place or a bar, I guess if you could, and you saw like the pool tables there, and you were like, wow, like pool balls are like really interesting, and like you'd almost have to stop yourself to eat them if you were so young.
This podcast is taking a very unusual turn.
Did you ever, as a kid, eat sand?
How about pool balls? You ever suck on a pool ball?
I'm just saying, like, I think there's a thing in the human brain that when it sees color, it associates it with taste.
Well, it's like there's a whole subreddit called Forbidden Snacks.
Oh.
That's all this. It's like things that look like they should be really good food. Yeah. But it's like a pool ball.
Right. Yeah.
And actually, that's the design philosophy of this can. Yeah. Is that it's like it's got some dark earthy tones, but also there's like this rainbow, this like kind of pastel rainbow.
Right.
I'd eat that can if I could.
That's a nice can.
Oh, this beer is really good.
That's a good beer.
I would probably give this beer I'm kind of debating between a 70 and a 75.
I was thinking 75.
75.
It really is like a unique brown. I feel like I may never have this beer again just because of how I don't know if they distribute this year round every year or if this is kind of a more one-off type situation.
I think it is like a one-off. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And I kind of keep an eye out for modern times because I like them. I keep them on my radar. Are you guys? I'm coming in here in the 11th hour with a little
I think
taste.
I got more of you, more than you.
Well, I have like a. Do you guys get like a? I'm now in the way back of my mouth. I'm getting like a pretty hoppy flavor, like a little hint of it way at the back, but I'm getting like a pretty strong hop to this.
Just kind of like the like a ghostly after effect of when you drink like a specifically hoppy beer. Mm-hmm. It's reminding me of that.
This has it's like brown at the front of your mouth, and then the aftertaste is almost like you just drank an IPA.
Yeah.
It's kind of this hoppy little, like when you exhale, you get a little hop flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Very weird. Very good.
What was
I like
the
this.
ABV and the IBU?
This is 6.2% ABV
And
30.
30.
Wow.
I kind of feel like you cheated on that one.
Well, I was gonna change it to 30, and then you started saying 30, so now I feel like I can't take that. But I'm happy.
Oh man! So I just finished mine, and the head on it is actually really different from the main body of the liquid. Like, is that just me?
I was going to make a comment about the head being like very resolute or a different word. Like it sticks around. Mm-hmm. It's a very strong head.
The head actually like reminds me of like steamed milk and a latte.
Yeah.
Both in taste and texture.
Right. And a nitro that gives it that really light, fluffy, almost like marshmallowy head.
Yeah.
In texture, like it feels really soft and pillowy. Mm-hmm. The flavor, I guess I see what you're saying. That I think the hoppy bitterness comes out a little bit more in the head. So it tastes like what you're saying, like steamed milk on top of a coffee, where it's still got a little coffee flavor, and it's that bitter. It tastes like a steamed milk that was sitting on espresso, where it's just bitter, but then like mild at the same time.
Yeah, really, what an interesting, complex,
but
easygoing beer.
Right.
Really easygoing. Yeah. Also, I'm surprised that something this complex is that easygoing.
Two things that are normally fighting against each other. You think
yeah.
of complex beers as being hard to drink or hard to get into. This is something I think anybody. I think if you're brand new to beer, this would be a beer that you would enjoy. Mm-hmm. Maybe you wouldn't pick up on all these little things, but this is something that anybody would like.
I almost feel bad giving it just a 75.
Yeah,
is that just me? I don't know.
Well, I feel bad because I'm like, this is like one of the best browns I've ever had, so I want to give it higher than that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a brown, and if I was at a bar and gonna get a beer, this is good, but it's down the list a little ways.
Okay.
I'm happy with the 75.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like browns, and this is still a 75.
All right.
I think that there is something more complex and more dark than this could score higher for me. I like kind of the compromise they've taken, trying to balance the two, like we said, in drinkability, but also complexity. I'm happy with 75.
Wow. We got one miss and one hit.
You've sunk my battleship. You ever play Battleship?
Yeah, I always lose at it. I don't feel like I don't know how. Like I lose at chess a lot because I'm not good at chess.
You play chess often?
Not very often.
Yeah.
More often than I
Grandmaster.
play Battleship.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like chess, I understand why I lose. It's because I don't understand like the whole strategy of it all, and like I know how everything moves, and I know what to look for. But I just like there's like a sixth sense that I don't have for like what to do. That I think just comes from practice. Battleship, I feel like, is overwhelmingly a game of chance. It is for 90% of it. It's a game of chance until you hit something, and then you can deduce information. But until that point, it's just luck. And so I feel like I shouldn't lose,
but you lose.
I feel like I should win about half the time.
Right.
Like pretty close. I feel like I understand like the statistics of like how likely I am to hit somebody's boat if I aim in different areas, or like if I hit something, then I know immediately surrounding that is something else, and I know to aim for that. So it's like I feel like there's not some like big concept of the game of battle game that the Battleship that I don't understand. I have won like 5% of Battleship games in my life, and I feel like there's like some conspiracy against me. Like Battleship was just invented to make me lose at this game, and everyone's in on it or something. It's weird. Have you played Battleship, Nick?
Yeah.
Do you win often?
I haven't played Battleship for a long time. All I remember is that my strategy was to cluster all of the ships as tightly as
dangerous
I can in the middle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Well, so and part of that strategy is that they'll hit one ship and then another ship, and then they'll never they have a kind of a hard time finishing off one ship, and then they're like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to move somewhere else because like
the thing that gives that away is you're supposed to announce when you've killed a ship. So if there's
I do. Yeah.
But what I mean is like if I sink your ship that's 3 wide, whatever, the submarine or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But I hit 4 times, then I know there's something else there.
Right. Well, but the strategy is all behind the too long like schooner ship, right? Because if you if you're able
boat.
right, if you're able to get like hits on all the other ships, it doesn't matter because if the schooner is still alive and it's like somewhere in the mix there, they're gonna try to divert their attention somewhere else because they think that I've hidden the schooner in like some corner of the map, and then they piss away the rest of their time.
Now maybe the strategy should be to hide the schooner away.
Maybe
because they're just as likely to hit it anywhere else, right?
Right.
What's next?
I looked it over and I thought maybe mixing it up with a juicy IPA.
Oh yeah.
So
there we go.
Now we have City of the Sun by Modern Times. With a title like that, you really think about Phoenix.
I was going to say,
Right.
I think they're aiming at. I think they're trying to say San Diego is the city of the sun, but
but
they've
Sun
never
City.
been to Phoenix or Sun City. Now I don't know. I would not be naming a beer after Sun City.
Well, if you wanted to make a beer for geriatrics or something like that,
Have you ever been to Sun City?
I have. Have you ever driven around Sun City? Like,
Is there a Sun City, Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about Sun City, California.
Okay.
They're coincidentally both for geriatrics.
Okay. Sun City, Arizona is organized in these concentric circles.
Oh yeah. It's out in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Well, no, it's kind of like on the
it's like way south of Phoenix,
the west side of Phoenix.
Oh, I'm not thinking of the right thing. Then.
Yeah, and it's kind of annoying to drive through because you like run into like golf carts all the time.
Dude, that place is a labyrinth because everything looks the same.
Right, exactly the same. Yeah,
and there's nothing to do there.
As somebody who navigates
golf.
As somebody who navigates almost entirely by landmarks, that sounds frustrating. Yeah. This smells delicious. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go.
Cheers.
Cheers. Don't all look at me.
I'm thinking.
You're the expert.
I don't get juicy out of that. That's not.
Yeah.
I kind of have an opinion of what a juicy IPA tastes like, and I would not jump to that with this.
This is me. It reminds me a little bit of the first one we had. No,
I see a little bit of the same flavor, the same kind of like aftertaste.
Yeah,
but not nearly as bad.
Oh, no.
Not even in the same
Much
class.
more flavorful.
Yeah.
I like the hop flavor.
Yeah.
I don't like that aftertaste very much.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
That aftertaste, though.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You would expect more hop forward flavor in this one, right?
Right.
And I'm getting really none of that. I kind of expected to, after drinking this, to taste hop. Yeah, and you're right. There is that kind of weird aftertaste of nothing.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it. It's like kind of metallic. It's also like...
Especially in that aftertaste. It is like a very like iron kind of flavor.
That being said, I do enjoy at least the first half of this. It's bright. It's somewhat semi-fruity. I would say it's more on line with a standard IPA than anything else. There's nothing really special happening here.
It almost has a little Brett flavor in it. I get
Really?
that weird kind of like aromatic flavor that I can't quite put my finger on.
Yeah, because
It's typical in like
bread.
a bread IPA.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of that in this. I really don't get juicy. Maybe I don't share a definition of juicy IPA with everyone else, but
Yeah, I don't really get juicy either. I don't know. Does anyone taste kind of like a yeasty kind of
That might be what
you're
Yeah.
thinking of, right?
that might be what Sean is
the
thinking.
Brett that I'm talking
Okay,
about.
Yeah, the Bretts are typically kind of a yeast forward
Okay.
in that
It's like
sense.
Little
Yeah.
yeasty. It's like they're typically dry. It's this really like sharp dryness. That doesn't
Okay.
make. Here's the weird thing about tasting beer and trying to describe it.
Yeah.
I feel like until you start trying to taste a beverage, or until you become like a gourmand, where you're like trying to like describe food flavors, you don't know. You don't have a vocabulary for
yeah.
describing flavors. It's something that you eat something and you go, "This tastes like chocolate because I'm eating a Hershey bar," right?
Yeah.
But when you have like a beer, I don't think it's natural to be like, "This tastes like the sand on the bottom of my boot when I hike in Sedona." But then,
Hey, now that seems. I'm not quite sure, but that seems a little aggressively.
that wasn't
directed
pointed at
towards
anyone
me.
here.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I feel like it's hard to like acquire that vocabulary to describe flavors. So that leaves me with describing Brett IPAs as a sharp dryness.
Okay.
There's this very like, it's like you taste it and then it just like falls off a cliff.
Okay.
Is the best way I could describe it.
I don't know.
I get a little bit of that in this.
Okay.
Maybe that's what you're tasting. I don't know.
Maybe. To be honest, I'm having a hard time finishing this one. It's better than the first one we had, but still, it's maybe the past example is kind of ruining it for me.
Yeah. I'm happy giving this a 50.
Yeah, 50.
I would have gone more towards the 60 end.
You can.
I will.
63 it is.
63.
Well, that's two 60s and I'm sorry.
said
I'm
50.
sorry.
50s.
53.
53.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you guys know I've taken a couple of math classes recently?
It really is nondescript. I could not pick this out of a crowd.
Right. And I know this isn't our metric for our scale, but I feel like it's true for almost every IPA for me. I would not order this a second time. And I think that's a criticism of this beer, where I feel like most good IPAs, if I got it at a bar, I would almost rather have that beer again. I don't know. I like it in different beers. Anyways.
So we're kind of landing in the self-described 50 category of why not category.
Yeah.
Right? So not bad, but not great at all.
If I came out here to the lounge and I saw the tap list and this was on there and a bunch of other beers I was very meh about,
Right.
I would get this. This is a
Right.
good. It's an enjoyable beer. I would have a good night drinking these. I just
There's
like
nothing special.
Right. There are a lot of beers I would have before I had this.
For me, it's an interesting one in that there's some good things about it that are like beyond the just meh category, but then like that aftertaste, it's like having like two polar opposites in a beer for me, and like it's complex, but it's not easygoing. Like, and it's kind of like oh, all at like within like a 5-second interval.
Okay.
You know when you maybe I shouldn't say this.
Yeah, you can say it. We can edit it out.
You know when you like see a girl and you don't know if she's like at first glance she's super hot, and then you get closer and you're like, ooh, maybe not. It's just like at a glance you're like, oh, and then upon closer examination,
I have the exact story to describe. When I was doing research for NAU, and we were in the middle of nowhere in these mountains in New Mexico. We were at the top of this mountain. We were driving around, and we came up to the fire lookout tower, and we were like, a pretty good distance away, and this person was at the top of the tower.
You were like a siren.
Right.
Here to seduce me.
So I said, I was like, I bet she's hot. Like, from what I can see, I bet she's like really hot. And the rest of the day, we're sort of like him and hawing over this. Like, I wonder. Because we knew it was a woman, but we didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
And then later that night, we're at the campfire, just having our dinner, and the lady from the fire lookout,
the siren,
right? Yeah, this lady is 65 years old.
Is she hot for 65?
I bet when she was not 65, she was attractive.
She was a Woodstock babe.
Yeah,
she's no longer a Woodstock babe.
Yeah, right, exactly. So.
It was
that's this beer. Is that woman?
Yeah, it's like in American Graffiti. It's like the it's that the lady in the white T-bird that like.
I've never seen American Graffiti. Don't look to me, but Richard
Dreyfuss's character like obsesses over throughout the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
Then sees her one last time at the. It's like opposite of that.
Yeah.
You're trying to distance yourself gradually.
Yeah. You have a shitload left, dog.
I really want to pour this one out for my homies. I hate wasting beer, but
while you're gone, I'll defend you by discussing at short the seemingly prevalent opinion that pouring beer out is always wasteful. It seems like there's a lot of people on like Reddit and these beer forums who somebody will pour out. They'll say, "I hated this beer so much I poured it out." And people in the comments are like, "You don't do that. That's a sin. Like that's blasphemy to pour a beer out." And they're insofar as like, I'm sure this is at least partially exaggeration, but there was a guy on there who was saying like, if I have a party and the next day I'm cleaning up and there's like 6 half-empty beers, I will finish them before I throw out the can.
Oh.
And I'm like, number one, that's disgusting on its own. Like that's we're not even talking about wasting beer.
You better have some close friends at that party so that you know you don't get like herpes or something, right?
Beer is a sugary liquid. It is made to be infected by a bacteria. So by leaving it out overnight in an open container, you're just allowing this infestation to take over. Yeah. I'm not really weird. I don't consider myself like anal about like keeping food perfectly preserved, but to me that's disgusting. The beer the next day is disgusting.
Right.
But on top of that, it's like it seems to be this opinion that like pouring beer out is automatically wasteful. And to me, my thought is I buy beer to enjoy drinking it. Right?
And if I don't,
why else would you buy a beer except to enjoy drinking it? Yeah. And if you drink it and don't enjoy it, it's wasted automatically. It's already waste. Yeah. The fact that you paid money for it and you're not going to enjoy it, the money's gone, you wasted your money. Why would you then further your pain by drinking something you don't enjoy?
Yeah.
It just doesn't it doesn't make sense to me.
I think I'm slightly more towards the other end than you are.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that there are a lot of people, especially on Reddit, that take the
circle
mantra,
jerk it.
Right. They, if you have a Pabst Easy, you can't,
You better cut this can in half and lick the inside of it to get all the beer out of it.
I feel like I know enough people in my life who, have a willing disrespect for beer that it kind of makes me feel like, that it's sort of like the seatbelt thing that we were talking about earlier, like, right? Like your automatic disposition should be towards
trying
to finish it. And if you can't, that's fine.
And I'll agree with you. I think this changes slightly when we're talking about somebody else drinking my beer or me drinking somebody else's beer. They spent the money on it. Maybe they wasted their money, but I haven't wasted money. Like I don't want to like waste something else that somebody else paid money for. If somebody gives me a beer, I'm finishing it,
right?
Unless it's absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah.
It seems like there are people who come to a party, open a beer, drink a third of it.
Exactly.
Over an hour, and then it's warm, so they don't want it anymore.
And then they get another beer.
But then they get another beer. Yeah. So then okay, now you're wasting the beer. You liked the beer, you just didn't drink it fast enough.
Right.
That's on you. You have wasted my money.
And I think there's equal parts in society, like those type of people who will, willingly waste beer, and the other part that will have they have
Ghost.
6 half empties
Yeah.
will drink, and both of them are egregious.
Right.
Right. Like
Drink
be,
your fucking
be reasonable,
beer.
Yeah,
Or just don't
exactly.
drink your beer.
Who cares?
God, I'm looking forward to finishing this beer because that's what Reddit told me to do. What's coming up next?
We have the Sula. I don't know. I can't read.
This is Sula.
What they're doing is they're leaving the second largest city in the country. So they're saying, "See you, LA." Boom!
Got him.
I've deciphered it.
All roads lead to California for Sean.
This is a wheat pilsner
Ooh,
with notes of some various berries.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this.
You know what?
Nice hiss.
The nice hiss, dog.
I feel like I have the sounds like beer joke every episode, and you're just now going to have the nice hiss
Oh, okay.
joke every
Well,
episode.
I'm stealing that one from a guy who reviews MREs on the internet.
The predication in my mind of this beer is a better version of Big Blue Van.
Maybe.
As a prediction?
As a prediction, because I think that Big Blue Van has a good blueberry flavor, and it's a wheat beer, so it seems pretty similar in a lot of aspects.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I think. You're killing me, Smalls. I feel like I drink a wheat beer and think to myself, "Man, I wish this had something else to it." I feel like I drink pilsners and go, "Damn, I wish this had something else to it." And I feel like I drink fruit beers and go, "Damn, I wish this had something else to it." So to combine them all sounds really good. It looks great, except for the 8 inches of head that I have, but I'm ready to drink.
let's try it.
Cheers. Oh, it smells amazing. It tastes less amazing, but that smell is incredible.
Yeah.
It's all berry.
Reminds me of cranberry juice right off the bat. Like without full
Yeah.
stop, just cranberry juice.
Really?
And then beer.
So the smell does, and to me the aftertaste does. But on the first taste, this was watery to me. There was nothing up front for this.
That's funny. I put the least amount of water in your glass.
So to go back to what I was saying about Big Blue Van, I think that beer is too heavy on the wheat note, and there's no beer flavor, but there's not enough blueberry flavor. It hits that wheat note very strongly.
Okay.
And I think this beer is the opposite. I think
Yeah.
it hits the fruit
There's no
way too
wheat in
hard.
this.
There's no beer in this.
Yeah, this is watered down cranberry juice.
And the fruit isn't good enough. Like we were talking about with E is for Elderberry last episode, there was some complexity of flavor within the fruit note itself. There is none in this. It is fruit. It's good fruit, but it's not interesting.
And to
Yeah.
follow up on what I said previously, this has the first thing I get is an absence of flavor. I get this cranberry flavor in the middle, and then it's back to nothing by the end. There's no aftertaste, or it's a slightly beery aftertaste.
Yeah.
The head on this is good. It's like a kind of a rocky. Looks almost solid. Like it looks like you could.
I mean,
set something on.
I
it.
did
Lay a quarter
miss
on
pour
there.
yours. So.
Yeah, but here it is.
That's interesting. I think you've brought up the geometry of how the head settles the most on this podcast, and I have to wonder, is there what's the secret? What's the
For head
Head shape.
What
Yeah.
changes head
Yeah.
shape? Actually, there's a couple of things that affect it. Alcohol is bad for head retention. I think what retains head is the surface tension of the beer around it. And I think that
okay.
alcohol lowers the surface tension of the liquid.
Okay.
So it makes it not retain head. So anytime you have a really boozy beer, chances are the head dies in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Beers that are lower in alcohol, like I imagine this is not above a 6 or a 7.
Kind of tastes like a 5 to me. Or...
This is a
Four.
6.5.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
boom. Fake point, Sean. Fake point, because we're not. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's some chemicals that improve head. They make it like proteins or something that make it. They like increase the surface tension, but I don't fucking know, and I don't know what makes it bumpy rather than flat.
Yeah. Okay.
So who the fuck knows?
This is a hard one for me because, it is weak. It doesn't really have any beer flavor.
But it also doesn't do like.
But
anything.
You're right.
It's not offensive. It's just like. Oh,
There's nothing.
I wish I had more of a beer in this, but that's about.
If you mixed this one with like a third of the last one, that would be a decent beer. This is
more
a beach
than a
beer.
decent. This is a beach beer,
and they are San Diego. I kind of understand it from that perspective. If you were sitting in the sand, hot day, 80 degrees out, watching the waves roll in,
and if you got a 4-pack of this and just yourself, perfect.
Yeah, get a little buzz sitting on the beach. That'd be a good day.
Not too much, just relaxing. No.
To its credit, this disguises that 6.5%. I think 6.5 is high for a low alcohol beer.
For a Pilsner.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and this, you don't, there's no alcohol in this.
My guess was like a 4.
Right.
So-
Really, this is carbonated cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Right. So, in that situation, this is a fantastic beer. In our situation, sitting in a cold bar, suboptimal.
Yeah.
And I think we should try to trend a little bit more towards that situation, right?
Right.
We can't always rate beer based on our locale.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kind of have to
Yeah.
There have been plenty of other beers that we've reviewed that have no place.
Right.
This has a very obvious, very distinct place. To its credit.
Which beer is this? Which packaging? Can you lift the can?
Sula?
Never mind.
What?
I thought this was City of the Sun for a second.
Oh.
And I was like, see, it's right in the name. Like, this is made for sitting out in the sun. But anyways, this is made for saying goodbye to Los Angeles.
Oh, so it's sort of a if you could just take a little piece of Los Angeles with you out, you're like going off to college.
You know what? I like that a lot. Yeah, you got it, man. That's what this beer is. That's what the can is. That's what this tastes like. That's a good observation,
right.
Jeremy.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm kind of torn, as Nick said. Sort of, it's a very specific situation, and that situation, great beer. Right now, I'm kind of like, wish I had a beer right now, but
I wish I had something more than this.
Yeah. I don't know. Is 65 a fair, or is that a little too low or a little too high?
I was gonna say a 60.
Okay.
I'd give it a 65.
I just realized that I'm a fucking moron. This is SULA, not CULA. It took me. I looked at that can about an hour and a half ago and didn't realize until now that it's not. My joke doesn't work because it's spelled wrong.
I mean, it's still as an abbreviation, like C starts with an S, like SEE. Oh, but U doesn't start with a U. It starts with a Y. Never mind. I'm a dumbass.
This is.
Well, I'm gonna Google Sula, and the first
Maybe
thing
this is from Missoula.
See you, Missoula.
In Montana.
Yeah.
Maybe they're saying goodbye to the rapists in the. No, there was a whole book written about this, like the
rapists in Missoula.
Yeah, the football team. Was
right.
given free reign to rape girls, and the college
was
administration was defending them and hushing these girls, and so they took it to the city, and the city was hushing them. It was like a big
and it had to go
deal.
to national court.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
So this is saying
cut all that.
Yeah.
The first thing I Googled the first thing I saw when I Googled Sula was a novel by Toni Morrison.
Okay.
So
Toni Morrison?
Toni Morrison's vagina.
Is it like Toni? Is that the same Toni? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's Toni Morrison.
That's
Toni
him.
Morrison.
Okay.
What I will say, we've been talking about their can design.
This is a very different Toni Morrison. I'm just saying. Yeah, this look at her picture.
No, I think that's Toni Morrison.
But really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Switching the subject a little bit, we've been talking a lot about the can design, and this is the first beer that I've had that has this sort of on the label. It's got sort of this matte texture.
Oh.
Right? Like
Oh.
feel
Yeah.
right? It's got kind of a
I noticed
The
that
label
earlier.
is matted.
it is like almost velvety.
The other ones aren't like that. The ones that have
This one is the
Okay.
Bedrock, but everything else is just
Gloss.
aluminum. Yeah.
Oh, it's printed on the aluminum. I thought they were all like the.
These older designs with just the white and then their name
Right.
are just aluminum.
Oh.
So
It's because this is a sticker.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Well, like I think that one on the end.
This is printed onto the aluminum. This is not a sticker. So
It's a very like convincing sticker though. Unlike our last episode where it was kind of just like slapped on. Like this one follows the contours of the can all the way up to the rim.
Yeah. Well, so these are like a sheet of plastic that they roll into a tube, seal, drop over the can, and then it's like a heat shrink to suction it to the can.
Yeah.
Where the last ones were just an adhesive.
Okay.
So these ones are held on just by the
Yeah.
friction and just by like shrinking it onto the can. Interesting that it seems like you would pay extra for that, right?
yeah,
So they're like
yeah.
paying extra.
it's
to
a
get
premium
yeah.
for sure.
This is, and we were talking briefly about this before the show, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it seems like packaging on beers is like a really big deal.
Yeah.
Like almost, that's like as important as the beer itself, or if not a little bit more so. It seems like, especially if you're, modern times here, we're 500 miles away from modern times right now. And if you've never heard of them, that might be the difference between you buying and not buying their beer.
Yep.
It could be a shitty beer. You'll never buy it a second time. But
You buying
that
it
made
once
you
is
buy
enough.
it once. Yeah. So that's kind of a, packaging is a big deal right now.
And in markets outside of their home city, they don't exactly expect many return customers.
Right, exactly.
They're all about the initial
They're hoping
one-time buy.
Yeah, they're hoping you're going to see one can and take it home.
And they're doing a really good job of that with those two, the Bedrock and this one.
Yeah.
For both
Their other
really
beers, not so much.
It seems like they're trending more towards kind of 60s design.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
We got
what
next, Jeremy?
What are we doing next?
I guess we're doing the Black House, which is another nitro with coffee, coconut, and coca.
Gentlemen,
Cheers.
cheers. Ooh. Ooh.
You know,
Oh.
I went into this one kind of with the impression that I wasn't going to be into a darker beer this
Yeah.
episode. I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but first impression, I'm really impressed.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good smell. And then that first flavor is just like it tasted like having a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Really?
I
Yeah.
kind of got more of like a drinking like chocolate milk vibe.
Yeah. I got more of a, Hershey's milk chocolate bar vibe.
Okay, yeah.
Coffee and beer tends to be more, for me, like acidic. It's like you're drinking a straight black coffee. Mm-hmm. And this has more, there's enough lactose in it to make it more of a chocolate flavor.
See, I think I kind of lean towards coffee flavor more. I think I'm more sensitive to that flavor than I am the coffee flavor. I'm sorry, the chocolate flavor.
Okay.
So if I get to me, a hint of coffee is a pretty powerful flavor, which
Yeah.
this beer is, to me, a coffee beer. This tastes like
okay.
drinking a black coffee.
Yeah.
I get a little sweetness, but I don't really get a lot of chocolate. But I'm glad you guys do.
Yeah. I can see the coffee. It's just too weak to be coffee to me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how these flavors are different because to
Yeah.
me, that's this is a coffee beer. If you didn't tell me, it says it has coffee in it.
Coffee.
But if this was a blind taste, I would have thought this is they added a lot of this is a coffee
Yeah.
beer.
Okay.
They say it has coconut in it, which I disagree with.
No coconut.
Can't sense that at all. I do. Some of the aftertaste does remind me a lot of eating dark chocolate specifically.
I see that.
It's like, do you ever eat a piece of dark chocolate and then you kind of
Gag.
You like exhale, and there's like you've already like chewed and swallowed the dark chocolate, but you exhale, and there's that kind of like
I get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with happening in this beer.
I tried dark chocolate recently because I didn't like it as a kid, but now I thought, you know what? I like black coffee. I like IPAs. I like these bitter things now. I was just a kid, you know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I hate it. I can't stand dark chocolate. There's this weird, like, sour, like nasty. It's not the bitterness that I don't like. It's the flavor of it, and I have a really hard time describing that flavor. But I can't fucking stand dark chocolate. I thought I was gonna like revolutionize. Like, oh my god! Now I'm an adult. I'm gonna have this completely new appreciation.
I have a more advanced palate.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. Milk chocolate all the way.
I find myself trending the exact opposite direction.
Oh, milk chocolate's too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Really, and I love white chocolate too.
Even sweeter.
Even sweeter, but it knows it is one thing. And dark chocolate is one thing. I don't really want this kind of like middle ground garbage. Like milk chocolate just doesn't have any specific flavor that I can't find in other sweet things.
Even good milk chocolate.
I've had good milk chocolate.
Okay.
I've had like Ghirardelli's milk chocolate.
Ghirardelli. Yeah, I think Crystal called it Ghirardelli as well.
What is it?
It's Ghirardelli.
Ghirardelli. Okay.
It's just it's a weird.
Okay.
It's like a cultural. It's
Yeah.
like all you Arizonans call it, everything is a truck unless it's a car. I feel like
What?
no, because
What?
people from Arizona call a Forerunner a truck.
I don't.
Very false.
No, this is a fucking thing.
Really?
I went down this rabbit hole a long time. I actually lost sleep over this because it was driving me crazy. This is a thing in Arizona. Arizonans call, unless it's a sedan, it's a truck. A Jeep is a truck.
No.
To me,
Wow. What?
No.
a Jeep is not a truck.
It's not.
Everything is a car unless it's a pickup truck or if it's a semi-truck, then they're trucks. But everything is a car. A pickup truck is a car, but it is a truck. Right?
Yeah.
But in Arizona, it's like almost the opposite. Unless it's a sedan, it's a truck. And then a sedan is a car.
I see your point of Arizonans trend towards the other way. But I don't think that there are many people in Arizona who call a Forerunner a truck.
I think overwhelmingly. Because like when I was at NAU in my freshman year, I was for the first time meeting all these college students who were from Arizona. And this was like, I swear to God, it was like 10 people within like a month I heard refer to things that I would consider cars as trucks. And I asked them about it, and they're like, no, it's a truck. It's, it's higher off the ground. It's X, Y, and Z. It's a truck. And I'm like, oh, but it's like enclosed on the back.
What were these people from Arizona, though?
They're Phoenicians. Yeah, they're born and raised.
All right.
Oh.
This is I went through
Crazy.
this. This drove me crazy, and I just ended up just resigning to it and just being like, it's an Arizona thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That I've never
And it's funny
caught
that
wind of this.
Right now,
until
I'm sitting here with two born and raised Arizonans, and you guys agree with me.
What were we talking about?
Something
I
about
would give
chocolate.
I would give this beer a 70. That's what we're talking
yeah,
about.
a 70.
70.
It is a little ununique or like it's not like the best
Nothing
stout
special.
that I could find.
Kind of waiting for a punch of something at the end.
Yeah.
that never comes.
But it is like another one of those like if I had to introduce someone to dark beers, this would be one of those because it is a little easier.
yeah, that's good.
Like if a brewery has to make a dark beer, this is a good stepping stone, right? Like it's a good introduction to dark beers. Nothing special, but it doesn't do anything particularly wrong.
Yeah.
Now, would this be better as I haven't rated it yet. I'm going to rate this a 65. I started out kind of pacing you guys, and now I'm falling back into my old ways.
Okay. I like the glasses this episode. Makes you look like a Vegas gambler.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hit me.
Even though we're indoors.
They need to be a little bit darker so that you can't see where his eyes are going.
Oh.
Yeah.
I brought these because I thought we were filming outdoors today, and these are my colorblind glasses, so I can the world is very colorful today, and I swear to God, every time I wear these, I don't want to go on another weird tangent, but every time I wear these glasses, it's like I walk outside and I'm like, holy shit, the world is beautiful. Like, it's so colorful out here. Everything is amazing. And I look down at like my skin and I'm like, oh, my skin is so like, there's like yellow and pink and red and stuff. This is fucking crazy. And then I look up and I'm like, oh man, like that car is so red.
Sean is colorblind, by the way, and is wearing colorblind glasses.
I have a very like out of body experience every time I go outside wearing these glasses. And then I forget I'm wearing them. And then here I'm sitting in the dark like, why is it so dark in here? Why is it so dark but colorful?
I'm surprised that Modern Times did this well with a dark beer. Both the brown and this have been very good.
Brewery known for their IPAs and sours. Doing a dark beer and a brown, you're kind of suspect, right? Mm-hmm. This is good.
And the IPA and the pales have been the least
consistently for these last three.
Yeah. What's the last beer we have?
The last in the 6 is Blazing World, a hoppy, dank amber.
Nice. And amber. Even that's a little dark for Modern Times, I think.
Yeah. I did sort of categorize them as they're really good at sours company.
Right.
So I'm glad that we're doing these other ones though.
Yeah.
By comparison to Evil Twin, which is the only other brewery that we've had a whole episode about, all 6 of these beers have been different. So we've had a brown, a dark, sort of stouty thing, an IPA, a pale, an amber. What was this, Sula?
That was an IPA. So we've had 2. That really. Oh, that was a Pilsner.
Pilsner. So we have had 6 different styles.
All different styles.
Yeah.
This looks good. Good color. Don't laugh at me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, that smells hoppy.
Yeah, that's
That tastes hoppy.
pretty hoppy for
Wow.
an amber.
That is a hoppy amber.
I wonder who does the naming over there.
Makes genius. Whoever it is, they deserve a raise. That really is. I wish there was more amber to it, if anything.
Yeah, it's
Not what I thought I would.
It does taste a little bit like a typical pale or IPA.
I get more of an amber note.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me go for another drink. Here.
I get it way in the back, but it's just not a very big flavor. I get a really, really significant IPA flavor.
Overwhelmed.
It is more hoppy than anything else.
It really just tastes like a slightly malty IPA.
I hate to keep beating this dead horse, but there's some sort of after flavor of something that
Dirt?
I don't know. It
We keep saying dirt. I'm not saying dirt.
Okay. But it's that first one we had was the most extreme example, and this is the least extreme example of that weird aftertaste that I'm getting from Modern Times. I don't. Is that maybe I'm crazy?
I do not get. I was getting a wet dog aftertaste to some of these beers.
Okay.
I'm not getting that for this, if that's what you're talking about. But
I agree with Sean that I don't get the same flavor that I've gotten out of the first pale ale and then the IPA after that. This is really robust in flavor. It has something other than just the hop. And I'm not sure I like it, but
as I continue to drink it, I get a little bit more of that malty flavor. I still, if I drank this blind, I would not guess hoppy amber.
No,
I would guess malty IPA.
Yeah.
I actually am finding that I really enjoy this. I like I like IPAs, but then on top of that, the little malty flavor, I think is really tasty. I really enjoy this.
I don't know. I guess because I saw the label and everything, and I'm like, amber. It is throwing me off a little bit.
Right.
It's really atypical of an amber, but I am enjoying it.
Hoppy amber, though.
Hoppy amber. Okay. Is that actually on the can?
I thought that was.
Yes.
Is it not? It is?
It is a hoppy amber.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm stupid. I think I'd probably get this one on the regular if I like frequented a Modern Times tap room.
I'll be the asshole in the situation and say that I think it's too like muddled to be anything really that great. It just tastes too much like a combination. It doesn't
Tastes
have
like
any.
somebody poured an IPA into your amber.
There's no
That's
distinct character. It doesn't do either thing very well for me to say, this is, malt forward, kind of an amber beer with a little bit of hop, or the other way around.
See, I think this is the other way around. When I drink this, I taste an IPA that has a little bit of amber. I think it does that well.
The more I drink this, I think I'm kind of agreeing with Nick. It's good, but then like the complexity is very just here's one thing and here's the other.
Here's
sort that one out for
big
yourself.
hot flavor, little malt flavor.
It's still good though. I don't know. I mean,
I commend Modern Times for doing something interesting, unique combinations like this. This is sort of in line with them doing a Nitro Brown.
yeah,
Right? Makes sense that they would be doing this. We have, Dark Sky Brewing in town, and I visit them very frequently and have beers that are just like this that I don't particularly enjoy, but I'm still glad I had them because there's something new and original.
Right.
Definitely. I think I'd give it maybe 60.
I like 70.
Whoa, the upset.
I'll give it a 50.
Oh,
Wow.
So a 60.
I suppose. Is this just me? But like when you've had a sip of your beer, and then you've let it settle, and it's been like 15 seconds, and then your exhales like kind of turn up the flavor in your mouth, like mix it. These are probably I think Nick's point was valid about like it's just one thing and then the other, and they don't really like mix very well. But these are like the most interesting exhales that I've had in a beer.
well, so that's a lot of what that is these fumes are coming back up through your nose.
Oh,
So you're getting a lot of like olfactory,
okay,
sensory.
yeah,
So your nose, you're almost smelling it more than you're tasting it.
yeah.
And that's kind of a different.
That's a bonus. It's a nosy beer.
Right. Stay away from my wife, nosy beer.
You can't look at my tax information.
Don't talk to me or my son again.
Well, all right. So we've had the 6 beers. Next up, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back with a little bit of beer news, and then we're going to go straight into our mystery beers. So this has been Be Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast. Want to see how our ratings stack up? Check us out on Untappd and Beer Advocate. Like listening to us at Beer Right Back. Get our t-shirts and gear at teespring.com/stores/beer-right-back.
Welcome back to Be Right Back, the Lounge Brewing Podcast. We got some brewing news for you real quick before we get into our mystery beers. I have a couple of pieces. Nick, you have
I have one.
one. You want to go, or you want me to
No,
go?
you go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got some good news and some bad news. Well, anyways, I've got some good news. Anchor.
It seems as though you've taken my piece.
I think I have.
So the employees at Anchor Brewing have formed the first union within a brewery in the United States.
Whoa.
And it seems as though the actual brewery itself has been kind of agreeing in the process of forming this union. It seems that everybody is on the same page, as far as I understand. It's not like the workers are going on strike right now. They're just, because the Anchor is so large, and recently it's been bought out by Sapporo or some.
They're bought?
They're bought by
Sapporo.
the
I'm not gonna do that.
Japanese company.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of employees, and it seems as though now is the time to form some sort of union.
Very interesting.
Karl Marx I think, wrote his manifesto in like a bar or something, so that's fitting, right?
Yeah, they'll have to make a beer called Manifesto.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It says employees at the 123-year-old San Francisco brewer won a March 13th election to form a unit of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union. The workers' win takes on extra significance given the beer's iconic reputation in the Bay Area and the dearth of union presence in the fast-growing craft beer business. Good for them.
Yeah, Japanese-owned Sapporo Brewing Ltd. Purchases Anchor
Really?
Brewing in 2017.
Wow.
You think after 120 years, they
yeah.
would have, it seems like they would be good enough. If you haven't
To be on
sold
their
in that
own.
amount of time,
Right.
why would you?
Mm-hmm.
Must have been a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
On to our next topic. This is
So was that the good news for you or the bad
that was the
news?
good news.
Okay.
Good for them. I don't even say this is bad news. This is just kind of funny news. We've talked about Voodoo Ranger and the Voodoo beers and how they have like a mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel a little like
Weird.
children's cereal to you? If they have a mascot that like
Yeah.
Oh, Captain Crunch-esque.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have good news for you guys. New Belgium is allowing you to choose the next Voodoo Ranger.
Oh
my
Their
God.
next beer. You can go get them both, try them, see which one you like best, and vote on it online. And then that will be the next beer that they produce. Your options are Hop Avenger IPA, totally not taking advantage of the movie about to come out. With its super juicy tropical aroma, Hop Avenger IPA packs a powerful pineapple punch. Or Starship IPA. Comet and Galaxy hops give Starship IPA a fresh blast of grapefruit and citrus flavor. So you can go buy these beers, go onto their website, you can vote, cast your ballot for the next Voodoo IPA.
Both of those are like, hey, you've seen movies by either the Lucasfilms or Marvel, right?
Associate our beers with those things. It feels very...
That's a kid cereal.
That's
thing.
very Mountain Dew, isn't it?
Yeah.
To like vote on a beverage and
It's
like
beer.
just make a good beer.
God damn it, make a good beer. And it will stand out on its own. It doesn't need a character to go along with
New
it.
Belgium has some fantastic fucking beers,
Sure.
but it seems like they resort to these like marketing gimmicks.
Well, I think once you become such a like large company, or at least like a large brewer, like what else is there to do other than to like generate more hype
Right.
for yourself just by saying like, oh, you could go online and vote for your like,
Share with your friends.
just it's
I feel like at this point, I don't need to share anything New Belgium makes with my friends. Any of my friends who are going to drink a craft beer know who New Belgium is. Any of my friends who are not going to drink a craft beer don't give a fuck who New Belgium is.
yeah.
So I don't understand it.
It does feel like I'm being like pandered to as a child would be
Exactly.
pandered to.
Yeah. It feels like I'm being marketed at. And I'm always being marketed at, but I don't always feel like I'm being marketed at. And this makes it feel that way, which I think is a failure of the marketing.
Heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Like good sound design.
Yeah.
You always,
Are we clipping?
Yes.
you always
Don't notice it.
that was the dumbest joke I've made on this fucking show. Like good sound design, like you always like, or you shouldn't notice it, thus it's good.
Right.
But like if you like someone like went up to me in a suit and tie and a briefcase was like, hey, like kid, like do you like, what do you prefer? Like fuck you. Like
Exactly. Since I was a kid, I felt like the vote on which one is your favorite is like the laziest form of doing anything, because it's like we just made these, and instead of trying to figure out which one's better, we're just going to let our consumers do it, and then we'll just keep making that one.
yeah.
Make a good
I don't
fucking beer!
It's I don't know. It's New Belgium, so my hopes aren't that high to begin with. So
They make such good beer when they want to. Like their Lips
Yeah.
of Faith series is ridiculous. It's so good. But then they're.
Yeah.
It seems like they're big releases. It seems like they're like their things that you buy at the grocery store are just lazy.
Yeah.
Some of them just feel like it's like our statisticians told us that this was the most agreeable form of this beer, so this is what we released.
Yeah.
It feels like scientifically made to not offend you, but in doing so, to me, is offensive. Like, just
Yeah.
make a beer, and it should do something, and it shouldn't just be this like. I don't want to
I get what you're saying.
yeah, I don't want to get weird, but I feel like they are like the American Idol of craft beer, where it's just like, let's just make this to the lowest common denominator and just make something that everyone can find some good in, but no one can find much good in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And I would rather drink a beer that I liked less, but was ambitious to try something bigger.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe that's why they're appealing to like the whole like movie angle. Because people make movies just to be.
They really are the
blinded.
Marvel / Lucasfilms
Yeah.
of beer. God, I could sure go for 2 mystery beers right about now.
Hell yeah.
Jeremy, you got something for us?
I guess I do. I do. That was a joke.
Eyes closed?
Eyes closed. Eyes closed.
Let me punch my mic real quick.
So these are bombers, right?
Yeah, these are bombers. Really,
Okay.
really large bottles here. Sean, you can make your comments and now.
Wow, it sounds pretty good.
Thank you.
What a beer!
Good hiss.
Are we good to go?
Yeah. You can open your eyes.
Okay. Whoa. That's a dark beer.
Yeah, I think just because I was like expecting
I was
modern
expecting a
times,
sour.
I was like, it's going to be light.
Yeah. This is not
Oh,
like
it smells sour.
Oh.
It's like a chocolatey kind of like sour.
I mean, like, for the color that I'm looking at, it does smell pretty.
Cheers.
I think I might have gotten a false positive on the sniff test.
The sniff test.
I don't know. What is that?
You're the one who knows. We're supposed to know.
I'm making conversation.
No, okay.
No, he's
It's a
distracting us.
leading question.
Don't listen to him.
It's actually wine.
No, I just put motor oil in it.
It's rum. I don't get a lot of anything out of that.
It kind of just.
I get a little porter flavor. Not very much.
It's very acidic.
Is there like a chili? You get like a hot pepper out of that?
Yeah.
I get a little chili pepper out of that.
Oh, what?
I get somebody with a very small penis out of that. Do you guys get that?
I do.
Yeah.
More in the sound than anything.
Yeah. It's almost like they're trying to mix like vanilla bean and chili in a beer.
Yeah, there is a little
there's-
smooth vanilla flavor.
Right. There's something like maybe a little sweet on top of this weird hot pepper flavor.
I get coffee out of this, but I think I get coffee out of every dark beer.
It's a hard one. It doesn't really fall into either the porter or the stout tropes. I think it could be either of those things, and I would not be surprised.
Are we? Shall we begin guessing, Nick?
Sure. What are we guessing first, though?
Let's do ABV.
Okay.
Do you hear that mosquito that just flew by? What did I say? Let's do that one first.
ABV.
ABV. Let's do ABV first.
We've had 6 beers, folks.
I want to say like 7.
6.
Is this me?
Well, you're not guessing. You're telling us what it is.
Yeah. That's what I. Okay.
Okay, yep, that's you.
Well,
If we split this,
It's a 6.5.
it's 8%.
8.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. 8.0.
Jesus.
Neither of us get a
That's
point
neither.
for that.
Yeah, it's a whole point off.
Jesus. I don't get 8. I thought you were. I was.
You thought I was
internally, I was
laughably
like, yeah,
high.
I was like, no
7.
fucking way is this a 7. Jeez.
Yeah.
You don't get that at all.
Well,
I don't get that at all.
And I don't get 7, but I sort of from our experience with this Black House Nitro,
They disguise it well.
they disguised it very well. And so
You know
I
what?
sort of thought,
I get a little heat on the exhale that I just attributed to like the chili pepper flavor. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's hiding that alcohol. Mm-hmm. IBU?
IBU.
Should I go first?
Sure.
There's a little bitterness to that, and I hear back to what I just got done saying. I don't know if this is bitter from hop or just me thinking it's coffee bitter. I'm going to say a 40.
I'll go 30.
We have an IBU of 50.
Whoa!
Damn!
Nobody's getting points today.
This next one, we're just going to start guessing higher and higher. This is 11%.
You'll never guess the final gravity.
Can I guess the final gravity?
If you want. No points involved. So.
No points. I mean, I feel like if I got this dead on, I should get a point for it.
Okay, if
if
you
I
can get
miss
it
by
down to
one-
the 100th,
Yeah,
I'll shit my pants.
1,000th, right?
It's fine. I don't care.
I don't know. Let me remember how gravities work. 1.015.
You had 1.0 right,
Yeah.
but it's 1.024.
Wow. That's high.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't drop your glass to figure that one out.
Yeah. Well, it fell at 9.8 meters per second squared.
I'm going to guess that this is a porter.
It does have a little bit of that porter flavor, doesn't it? Because you said it, I have to say stout. I'm going to say it's a chili pepper stout.
Oof, there's a lot of adjectives on this bottle. It's a blankety blank porter.
Oh!
Damn.
Thank God.
Good guess, Nick. 1 point.
I mean, to be fair, if you had guessed first, you would have probably guessed porter.
I would have
right?
picked porter.
Well, you could have denied me the point and also guessed porter.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I elected not to, and I bear the responsibility of it.
Do you want these other adjectives? Mm-hmm. It's weird. It's an Imperial rye porter with Nola coffee.
We got a little rye. I wouldn't have guessed rye.
I wouldn't have guessed rye.
Evidenced by the fact that we didn't guess rye.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about before, I feel like this is like confirmation bias now that I know there's rye in it. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. Mm-hmm. But I totally get rye in that. I could have sworn. Don't you get chili pepper?
A little bit.
Like a little
chili.
heat. Maybe
Yeah.
it is just the alcohol, but I get a little chili pepper out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good beer. If you had to rate it, Nick,
I'd give it a 70.
If I'm honest, I'm not a fan.
oh,
I find this one really disagreeable with me.
any notes? Any comments? Why?
It's like too rough on the chili pepper. I don't know, why would you want that to make a selling point on a porter? Like, I know it's like common practice and everything, but I really like it when they don't do that kind of thing.
What thing?
The chili pepper thing.
Oh,
Maybe it's just them telling me there's chili pepper in it, and that's why I don't like it. But
did that say?
There's no chili pepper in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I think that's just me and Nick being dumbasses.
oh, I don't know.
And you too now.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass.
We've implicated you.
That's fine. But there's that spicy or that heat to it that I don't know. I can't find it palatable. So I'm gonna say 50.
I love chili pepper stouts. I love that sweet heat.
To be fair, this is not a chili pepper stout.
It's not at all. Don't buy this
stout,
expecting it to
let
be.
alone.
So
I'll call this a 70. You called it a 70? Mm-hmm. I like this.
I'm the upset.
50 and 2 70s.
60 something.
63?
65 something.
I think a 65, given our
I think it's a 63, but we'll go with 65 because I like it.
yeah. You should have said 60 or 73 to make
Would've
it.
been perfect.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm having trouble finishing this one now. So
It's rich. It's dark. It's a lot to have if you are buying a bomber of. I think I'm impressed that, coming off of the Black House, the Nitro beer that we came off of, being kind of, traditional and more placid in tone, this is much more What, you don't like my word placid
I
there?
love your word choice. It's complete. Anyways,
This is rocky. This is rough. This is, it's something a little bit more outside the bounds of what I expect from them. And for that, I think I have rated it highly.
this has a pretty pronounced bitter note, kind of in the middle of your mouth. I didn't pick up on that earlier in all of this, but now I'm kind of getting this, almost like the brown. I kind of got that late, like as an aftertaste. I got this hoppiness. This has a little hoppiness at the end. Again, back to our dark beer episode. I like a little bit of that bitter dark beer. I'm more about the sweet dark beers, but I like a little bit of that, and this has a good balance between the two. I could do it a little bit sweeter, but I enjoy this. On to our next beer.
Our
On
next
the next beer.
mystery beer. All right, you can open your eyes.
Sure doesn't look like it.
God damn.
Yeah.
You're jitney, Jeremy.
Well, I didn't buy these.
Oh my god, that's boozy. Can I guess percentage
Cheers.
right now?
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh.
Jesus.
Oh my God, you're right, Sean.
Oh! Ah! I get like a. Oh, what? Toasted
Licorice.
coconut.
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
no,
toasted
you're right.
coconut. Boom! Like right in the face. Like that's an
this
almond
is,
joy.
This is very coconut.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a stout.
I'm
This is
guessing
stout.
style first.
Well, I'll also guess stout, so
Okay.
you can't get a point. Wow. You're right. This is
Big coconut flavor.
massive coconut flavor.
Little chocolatey.
This is
That tastes like an almond joy.
this is very good.
I'm fucking freezing. It's so fucking cold out here.
Yeah.
This is like one of the warmest episodes we've ever recorded, but for whatever reason, I'm
Well, last
freezing
week
my ass
was
off.
actually. I keep checking the weather
Yeah.
report before I go to these things. It was last one, but you're close.
But what I mean is, this is like one of the warmest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Last one I was fine. I was standing up, so that I think that improves it a little
Yeah.
bit. But Jesus fuck, I'm cold.
Do you want to guess ABV?
I thought we were doing style.
Well, we got to do ABV, IBU,
Oh,
and style,
okay.
right?
Oh man, the coconut's throwing me off. It smells so boozy, but then the taste is it's just like masked by the coconut.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's still boozy. Oh shit.
It's so strong coconut. I've never. What is the brewer that does the coconut?
That beer, the technical.
The Patsy.
Oh, the Patsy. Yeah, it's
Who
the
does-
same one that does El Technical or El Technico or the Technical.
Who does the Patsy? To give some context, the Patsy is like the most coconut I've ever tasted in a beer, and this perhaps surpasses it.
Yeah.
It's so strong coconut flavor.
I'm gonna guess 10%. This is very boozy.
I'll guess 12.
It is a 14.6.
Whoa!
14.6.
Oh man, it's all there. They're not
Yeah.
hiding any of it.
Nope. Oh, it's like a truck
Yeah,
right in the face.
man.
Oh,
Here I thought 10%. I was like overdoing it or something.
yeah.
Uh,
The Patsy is from Barley Forge in California.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that name,
But-
but they do like
yeah.
I know like 4 of their beers.
They do a good job. This is more coconut than
Yeah.
even the Patsy.
I feel like coconut is a pretty subtle flavor too, so good on them for extracting this much of it.
Yeah, it really brings it out.
14%? Good Lord.
Point
ABV to
six,
you?
too.
No, IBU to me.
That's the one.
I'll guess 40.
Oh, no, not even close.
All right.
20.
I'll say that I'm a point up on you. So
Fuck you. 20.
Whoa. You're not I mean, it's on the bottle here, unless I'm blind, but it's a 60 IBU.
No fucking way.
Yeah, I'm really far off, Sean. Says the person with the 20 vote.
No, I'm the ass. I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
This isn't bitter to me.
Well, that brings up an interesting thing about the IBU, in that it's based on the amount of a certain chemical in the beer, right?
Yeah.
And it at that point, it's like,
So subjective.
yeah, it doesn't.
I get like no bitterness out of this. This is like all booze, chocolate, coconut to me. Good guess, Nick. No point
Style.
for it, but good. I'm going to guess a stout.
I want to win, so I'm also guessing a stout.
Yep, it's a stout,
Yeah.
guys.
Well, yeah. I would be an idiot to guess otherwise, right? Like,
You want the full?
Yeah,
you want the
let's-
full style? Okay.
yeah.
It is a Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with Mexican hot chocolate edition.
No coconut?
They
No
didn't say
coconut?
at all.
What
That's
the
a surprise to
fuck?
me.
This just, it's all coconut.
So I'm going to read off the ingredients
Yeah.
on the back. It's an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with cinnamon, coca nibs, and chilies, and vanilla. I think the vanilla has something to do with
The vanilla and the cinnamon, maybe,
yeah.
kind of combining.
Man.
And then the malts here are barley, oats, chocolate malt, midnight wheat, crystal 120, roasted barley, and black barley. I don't brew beer, so
Well, and I recognize most of those, and it's just like they went to the store and they're like, give us all of your dark
yeah,
malt.
everything that you could associate with a dark
Yeah.
beer, just put it in there.
This is quite good.
That's a good beer. Now I get the bourbon. I thought that was just like a boozy flavor, but now I'm starting
It's
to pick
bourbon.
up that that's a more bourbony flavor. That's pretty good.
I would give this a 75.
I wish I could enjoy this more, but I've had like 6 other beers before me, and it's throwing me off. But I really agree with that like 75 range.
I'll give it a 70.
It's quite good. If I was given this entire bomber of beer, I would drink it.
Yeah, it'd have to be my first and last though of the day in my case.
Sure, but
This would be my 7th beer.
Actually, it's your 8th. Oh man.
it's ironic that we thought the last beer was Chili's, and we didn't
This
think
one actually had chilies in it.
and we didn't get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Monsters Park. It's a good one. Kind of sad that we didn't have a sour from Modern Times, but you know what? When we have the sours episode, we might have a.
That really seems to be their strong suit.
And really, that speaks to how good they are. That we had several, like 3 dark beers, not including the brown, and they were all pretty good. And that doesn't even seem to be their forte, as far as beer goes.
Right.
So, next episode, we've got La Cumbre Brewery. We're going to do a rundown of their beers, more widely distributed beers. First, we've got the Slice of Heffen beer, which is a New Mexican Bavarian-style wheat ale. A rye IPA. We've got their Altimeter IPA. We have their La Cumbre beer, which I would assume is
a lager?
is a lager, right? We've got their most widely distributed beer, which is their Elevated IPA. And then finally, we have their Malapas Stout beer, which is assumingly their most dark beer yet. So join us next time when we tackle La Cumbre from New Mexico. This has been Be Right Back, the Lounge Beer Podcast.